But I've got another question for you right at the start of this little bit. I wonder if I asked you, how would you complete this sentence? What would you say? How would you finish this sentence off? Jesus came. How would you finish that sentence? Jesus came to play for Arsenal. Jesus came. How would you finish that sentence off? Just have a think. I'm just going to come round and get a couple of answers very quickly. I saw a hand up over here straight away. Jesus came
to save the world.
To save the world. Very good. We got another one here. Jesus came.
Same thing.
Same thing. Jesus came
To love each other.
to love each other. Any more? Jesus came. This side, wake up. How are we doing? Jesus came to save us. Is that all? Okay, cool. All right, good. Jesus came. Now, Luke's gospel, which is the gospel, it's one of the 4 stories of everything Jesus did in the Bible. He gives 3 things throughout the whole of Luke. There's 3 reasons that Jesus came. The first is that Jesus came to give his life that we might be saved. So full marks over there. Okay, the second thing Luke says is Jesus came not to be served, but to serve. And the third one, Luke says, is Jesus came eating and drinking. Jesus came eating and drinking. 3 things that Luke says why Jesus came. One of those is Jesus came to eat and to drink, which might seem a bit surprising. How many of you like eating and drinking? Yeah. This side, gosh, come on, work with me here. Jesus came eating and drinking. It's surprising. Why would Luke pick that out? It doesn't seem very spiritual or very religious, but Jesus loved to eat and to drink. In fact, he did it an awful lot. Now, what's your favorite food? Have a think. What's your favorite food? Several hands this side, this side. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Cardboard? I don't know. Let's go here. What's your favorite food?
Steak.
Steak. Steak. Very good. What's your favorite food?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. What's your favorite food?
Lasagna.
Ooh, wasn't expecting that. Lasagna. Very good. Very good. Oh, one more over there. What's your favorite food?
Cake.
Cake. We love a bit of cake, don't we? Yes. Okay, well, one of my favourite foods, believe it or not, and it's partly just because it goes on a fruit kebab, is strawberry. I love strawberries. Of all the fruits, I think strawberries are the nicest. So in your pot, you have a strawberry as well. So could you begin to put that on as well? But I love strawberries. Now, I realise it's not everyone's favourite fruit, but just take it and pop it on to your kebab now to add what we've already got there. Now, what's your favourite place to eat a meal? If you could pick anywhere to gather friends around, have a meal, where would you do that? What's your favourite place to eat a meal? Let's go over this side.
McDonald's.
The big yellow arches. Wonderful. One at the back here.
On a campsite.
On a campsite. Very good. Let's have one more.
Anywhere but not outside.
Anywhere but not outside. So we've got campsite and not outside. So different people. Oh, we've got one on this side. Fantastic.
My bed.
Your bed. You know when you wish you'd never bothered. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. For me, the favourite place, and it's part of the reason we've got these skewers this morning, is I love a barbecue. I love sitting around, setting fire to things, and having a barbecue with all my friends around, family, tasty food, good conversation. It's sociable, and it's a lot of fun. Who else likes a barbecue? Yeah. Jesus loved eating and drinking. He loved gathering people round a table. And as we go through this series this term, we'll see that in Luke's gospel, Jesus is either going to a meal, or is at a meal, or is on his way back from a meal. And the thing about this is it got Jesus, believe it or not, into big trouble. In fact, one commentator, one person commenting on the Gospel of Luke says it got him eating together. Like Jesus' love of food and drink is actually what got him killed. And we see from our passage today that it wasn't so much the eating and the drinking that got him into trouble, as much as who he ate and drank with. The problem wasn't the party, the problem was the guest list. Now, you wrote down earlier who you would choose to have. You didn't write it down. When I wrote my talk, I thought, I'll get him to write it down. But you didn't, you just said it. So earlier, you were thinking of someone that you would love to invite to a meal or to a party. Can I just have a couple more names of people that you were wanting to invite to your party?
Jesus.
Jesus. That's very good. I commend you. Very good. Very good.
Sorry. The Grinch.
The Grinch. I think that would be fun. Let's have one more over here.
LeBron James.
Say that again.
LeBron James.
LeBron James. He's a basketball player. Is that right? Yeah. Look at me down with the... One more.
I'm speaking for George's behalf. Tom Hopper.
Tom Hopper. Lincoln City. It's a football team. Now, if Jesus were writing down his guest list, he would have all sorts of people on it. And what got him into trouble was that he was hanging out with people that no one else would have invited to his party. These are the people we can see in our passage that the religious leaders thought didn't belong. They thought they were unclean. They thought they were sinners. They didn't belong. They weren't welcome. And in our story today, can you remember the job of the person, of Matthew? Jesus went up to Matthew. Can anyone remember Matthew's job? He was a tax collector. Yeah. Now, I know no one likes a tax man, but not the person, just the job. I know no one particularly likes that, but in Jesus's... Have we got any tax men in? But in Jesus' day, we are going to a whole nother level. These were like the worst possible people that the Jews could have hung out with because they were tax collectors. They were working for Rome, and so they were like enemies. They were like traitors. And so here we see Jesus approaching Matthew, a tax collector, not just speaking to him and being friendly with him, but calling him to be one of his disciples. It's one thing to invite someone, another thing to say, come and follow me, be one of my disciples. And Matthew is so blown away by Jesus that he leaves everything and follows him. He's so blown away. His life is changed so massively by encountering Jesus that he now wants to live more like Jesus. And so he goes to all his friends and he says, come round to my place for a party. I want you to meet Jesus. Now notice here, Matthew doesn't go and give them a little booklet or tract about Jesus. Nothing wrong with them. Matthew doesn't say to his friends, have you been washed in the blood of the Lamb or anything cringy like that. He doesn't do that. He doesn't put on a local seeker-sensitive service in his synagogue to get them along. No, what does Matthew do to share the love of Jesus with his friends? He throws a party. He invites them to come and have a meal, to eat and drink, and to encounter Jesus. And so this party that Matthew throws is full of all sorts of people. Tax collectors, sinners, all kinds of people who would have freaked the religious people of the day out. And of course, right at the center of this party, eating and drinking, is Jesus. He's there eating with them. Just have a look at your fruit kebab again. Now, you could look at it and you could say, oh gosh, this is really messy. This is like, there's 4 different things on there. They're not chopped evenly. It just all looks a bit of a mess. It would be far better to have 4 grapes neatly stacked in a row. It would look lovely. It would look tidy. That would be much better. Or you could say, well, the color of the grape clashes with the color of the strawberry, and it's not very pleasing, so I'm just going to have a row of apples in there. Let's get rid of those that look like they don't really belong, and let's just stick with the apple. Or you could look at it, have a look at it. You could look at it and you could go, wow, Look at all this variety and difference. Look how everything is different, but somehow altogether it makes sense and it looks lovely and it looks delicious and it's the kind of thing that I want to eat. Now, if you look closely at the passage in Luke 5, we see that when the religious people are talking about the guests, in verse 32, they talk about tax collectors and sinners. But when Jesus is talking about the same people, they're referred to as tax collectors and others. It's a small difference in the text, but it speaks volumes. You see, here is Jesus. Here is God himself sitting down with everyone. And the Pharisees don't like it because Jesus' message is clear. Everyone belongs. Everyone is loved. Everyone can come and make themselves at home. And so you've all been waiting, I'm sure, to eat your kebab. And you could now eat your kebab with all the variety and taste it and think about how it's great to gather loads of people together, how Jesus does that. But I've got one more suggestion. Vicky, if you could just pull that table up for me. I've got one more suggestion for you before we do that. Yeah, that'll do. What if, before you ate your kebab, we dipped it in this gorgeous, lovely chocolate? What if you all came and gathered round the table together and dipped your kebab in this amazing chocolate? Wouldn't that be so much better? Come and eat. Come and eat. Come and have a dip of chocolate. Gather around together. Brilliant. Come. Come and have a dip. Come and enjoy it. Is it better with the chocolate? Is it better with the chocolate? Have a quick dip. Brilliant. Loads of people coming around, people from different walks of life coming together and enjoying, coming and eating. You can scoop some into the bowl, Pete, yes. Wonderful. The rest of us have got lunch to get home to as well, so Pete, if you want to, not take too long, that'd be great. Wonderful. You can finish that off as well after the service. Vicky, would you lose that for us for a minute? Amazing. There we go. Doesn't it taste so much better with the chocolate? Yeah, thank you, yeah. You see, when we make this church, when we make this community, this people a place where all people can come and be welcomed in, not just to come to meet together and be at services together, but to gather around food and table and do so with Jesus amongst us, then we'll encounter the sweetness and the abundance of Jesus. It's one thing just all coming together in a group. As a church, what we have that's unique is that we do so in the love of Jesus. As people come into this place, as we go out there and invite people into our homes, into our lives, that what happens is they encounter the sweetness and the goodness of Jesus. Jesus shows the love of God around the table. Here is God eating and drinking with anyone who wants to pull up a chair. It's love in action. It's welcoming people home. And so this term, I'd love us to really, as a church, think about what that means. We're going to do some things that try and grow that sense of not just coming and meeting and being stacked up as a kebab, but actually meeting around tables and encountering the love of Jesus. So at the end of this month, we're going to have the first of our church lunches. We're going to gather the whole church together, have a bit of a lunch, get different people making different things. We'll pay a couple of quid just to help with the cost of the food. And any profit of that will then go into Love Your Neighbour, which will help fund the cafe and help others to come and have tea and coffee and cakes as well. We want to eat together and welcome everyone. Youth and kids, you're going to have socials this term. And it's a great opportunity for you to invite friends to come and encounter Jesus. Alpha works so well because it's around a meal. It's around food. And then as well this morning, we're launching our midweek groups together. Midweek groups, that's for youth as well, 18s to 25s, adults. You can sign up at the back there. But the idea of that is different places fortnightly where you can just come and gather around food or on Zoom, but gather as a community. And as you do so, encounter Jesus. We'd love to commend them to you. Being in church on a Sunday is great, but it's a bit like being stacked on a kebab. What we can do when we get around tables together is we can see more and more and encounter the goodness of Jesus. Two other things just to say to you as we go through this series together. A little book there, Meals with Jesus. It's a little devotional book. The idea is you do it around the dinner table a couple of times a week, whether there's one or two of you or a whole family. There's some paper copies at the back of this week's. It's on the website as well. And in some of our small groups, and if you want to go a little bit deeper, I recommend this book to you, A Meal with Jesus by Tim Chester as well. But let's stand together.